Some stories are never finished. They're just filed away. Welcome to Chronicles of the Obscure, Spring 1964. Solway Firth, on the English-Scottish border. The wind blows gently across the Berg Marsh. Jim Templeton, a Carlisle fireman, is enjoying a rare day off with his wife and daughter. He unpacks his new pride and joy, a Kodak Instamatic camera. He poses his 5-year-old daughter, Elizabeth, holding a bunch of flowers. He takes 5 shots in quick succession. The marsh is empty. They are the only people for miles. Weeks later, collecting the prints, Jim freezes. In one photo, directly behind Elizabeth, is a tall, white figure. It has a helmet or a large, dark head, and its suit has a distinct, bulky texture. It stands perfectly upright, facing the camera. In the other 4 photos of the same spot, taken seconds apart, the field is empty. This was not a blur or a light leak. It was a defined, structured figure. Jim Templeton was a reliable witness, a man used to observing details under pressure. He swore on his life no one was there. Yet the film, examined by the world's leading photo experts, contained a person that no one saw. This is the Solway Firth Spaceman, a ghost in the machine of a simple family outing, a single frame that has come to represent the eerie power of the photograph to capture the impossible. The mystery is contained entirely within a 3x3-inch print. Let's examine the evidence, frame by frame. First, the photo set itself. Jim took 5 consecutive shots. Only frame number 3 contains the figure. This immediately makes it unlikely that it was a person who simply walked into and out of the frame. The timing is just too tight. Now, let's look closer at the figure. It appears to be about 1.5 times the height of 5-year-old Elizabeth. It's dressed in white, with a textured surface that suggests some kind of fabric or insulation. The head is dark and oval-shaped, like a visor or a helmet. There are no clearly visible arms, legs, or facial features. Crucially, it seems to be standing firmly on the ground, not floating or superimposed. Then there's the technical analysis. Jim sent the negative to Kodak's own laboratories. Their technicians thoroughly examined it and came to a stunning conclusion. The negative was untampered. It wasn't a double exposure. Whatever this figure was, its image was on the original film strip, perfectly integrated into the scene. The aftermath of the photo only deepened the mystery. Jim reported being visited by 2 stern men in dark suits, driving a Jaguar. They claimed to be from Her Majesty's government, but only identified themselves by number. They asked pointed, almost accusatory questions about the photo and the location, then left as abruptly as they arrived, without any explanation. As for the official record, no government agency has ever claimed the figure. Declassified Ministry of Defense files show they were interested, but they never identified it. To this day, it remains an unexplained photographic anomaly. The image is so clear that every explanation feels both plausible and somehow insufficient. Let's walk through the theory board, starting with the most down-to-earth possibility. Theory 1 is the prosaic explanation. It's simply a case of photographic defect or human error. The prevailing skeptical theory is that the figure is actually Jim's wife, Annie, who was standing slightly behind their daughter. In this scenario, her back is to the camera. Her light-colored headscarf and dark hair, blown by the wind and thrown out of focus, create the illusion of a helmet. The overexposure of her dress would explain the bright white suit. Proponents of this theory point to a different, less famous photo from the same role, where Annie's silhouette is visible in a way that looks somewhat similar. But there are problems. Both Jim and Annie vehemently denied this their entire lives. They were adamant that Annie was not in that shot. And when you look closely, the proportions and stance of the figure don't perfectly match a person standing with their back to you. This leads us to theory 2, the hoax. Did Jim stage the entire thing for fame, or maybe just as a practical joke? This seems unlikely. He never profited from the photograph. In fact, he seemed genuinely unsettled by the attention it brought him. And given the technical analysis by Kodak, pulling off such a sophisticated hoax in 1964 would have been incredibly difficult, especially for a local fireman with no experience in photo manipulation. And what about the Men in Black visit? If that story is true, it adds a layer of official paranoia that is very hard to fake. Theory 3 takes us into the realm of the paranormal and the extraterrestrial. This is the literal spaceman interpretation. It suggests that a visitor, either from another time or another world, briefly manifested in that field and was accidentally captured on film. This theory fits the visual evidence perfectly. It looks like a spaceman. But it completely lacks any other corroborating evidence. There were no other sightings, no strange lights, no physical traces left behind. It's an extraordinary claim based on a single, silent image. Finally, there's Theory 4, the secret test. The Solway Firth area was geographically close to several aerospace and defense facilities, including the Blue Streak rocket testing site. Could the figure have been a test subject in an early type of pressure suit? Or perhaps even a mannequin from a nearby test that had fallen into the marsh, something Jim wasn't meant to see. This theory would neatly explain the period-appropriate, almost retro look of the spacesuit. And those mysterious officials from the government? Their visit suddenly makes a lot more sense if Jim had stumbled upon a classified project. The photo became a cultural icon, a staple of paranormal books and documentaries throughout the 70s and 80s. In the digital age, it's been scanned, enhanced, and debated all over again. Digital analysts have noted the figure's lack of sharp edges, which is consistent with an object that is severely out of focus. They've also highlighted the strange texture of the suit, arguing it could just be the weave of Annie's headscarf, blurred by movement and wind. But no smoking gun has ever been found. Modern analysis hasn't solved the mystery, it has only entrenched the battle lines. For some, the digital tools are proof that the figure is just Annie, overexposed and out of focus. For others, the subtle details only make the image more strange, more unexplainable. The story of the Men in Black remains unverified but is absolutely central to the legend, preventing the story from ever being fully dismissed. The true legacy of the Solway Firth Spaceman is the power of a single, stubborn image. It has become a Rorschach test for belief. It proves that a mystery doesn't need to be complex. All it needs is one clear, defiant piece of evidence that refuses to fit neatly into our understanding of the world. This photo holds up a mirror to our trust in technology. The camera is supposed to document reality, but in this case, it may have created a new one. It forces us to ask, which do we believe? The witness who swore no one was there? The machine that says someone was? Or our own desire for a little bit of wonder? Did Jim Templeton accidentally photograph his wife in a once-in-a-lifetime play of light and focus? Or did his camera, for 1/125th of a second, see something that was meant to stay hidden? What do you see when you look at the Solway Firth Spaceman? A simple family member or a visitor from somewhere else? Share your verdict in the comments below. Subscribe to Chronicles of the Obscure for more journeys into the lost and unexplained. Thanks for watching.